And last year's challenging hurricane season taught us some important lessons, including one for everyone living far away from the coast.
Just because you're safe from storm surge doesn't mean you're flood proof. Max Defender 8 meteorologist Rebecca Berry joins us with more on that.
In 2024, we saw inland flooding in places where residents said it had never happened before. But last season was not a fluke. As Hurricane Milton churned over Florida, communities that had never worried about flooding woke up to find the problem right at their doorstep.
It was a frantic, very frightening situation because we were not really even sure what was happening.
Jan Morrissey was in Lakeland's Lake Bonnie neighborhood as the floodwaters rose.
The water was so high, it had already inundated our cars. We lost both of our cars to the flood, and we already had trees down and we had electrical wires down that were blocking our driveway. So we had no way of escaping, and we were very fortunate that there was actually a truck that would get to us and get us out.
Residents soon discovered the floodwaters would take their time leaving. Michael Chad Smith saw that in the weeks that followed.
It would test the fortitude of anyone, without a doubt. So, but it could have been worse. Look at North Carolina.
Oh my God. He's right. More than 600 miles from Lakeland, in Asheville, North Carolina, raging floodwaters spawned by Hurricane Helene washed away entire mountain towns, wiping out local homes, roads, and landmarks. So why is this happening? The causes can be complicated. Increased development in previously rural areas can play a part, particularly for people who live in older neighborhoods. Sometimes the storm drains, dams, canals, and retention ponds struggle to keep up with the population growth.
If there's a body of water and the drainage and the infrastructure has not kept it up as it should be, and the levels are not being watched and pumped down to safe levels before these storms occur, my story can be your story.
But studies also show that hurricanes produce more rainfall than they used to, and the biggest factor is slow-moving, heavy areas of rain. This can occur far from the center of the storm, particularly with weakening or dying tropical systems. Perhaps the most frightening part, how fast it can happen.
Hurricane rain is different than your average rainstorm. It is a lot of water very quickly.
The NHC has also added new watches and warnings over inland areas that fall within the forecast cone for a storm. Plus, they've also debuted a new mapping tool to better predict where the flooding may occur. And finally, they started issuing a new forecast for calculating the amount of potential rainfall from tropical storms.
Wow, we definitely learned that inland flooding is no joke.
Yeah.
I mean, in Hillsborough.
And it does, unfortunately, do just as much damage as storm surge flooding in some cases. You know, these homes were gutted. They were still not back in their houses. They had to drive from where they're staying temporarily to meet us at their homes to do these interviews.
Oh, my goodness.
It's heartbreaking.
It really is. Yeah. You can catch our Surviving the Storm special tomorrow night. We're going to take a look at the season ahead and what you need to do now to prepare for whatever comes our way. Surviving the Storm airs tomorrow at 7 p.m. right here on News Channel 8, and then again the following Saturday at 5 p.m. on the CW Tampa Bay.